pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Guest here, we have Andy Derby, we have John, and we have Joey. Yeah.
Whoever he is.
All right. John?
I have nothing, I just came to see what was going on.
Hey, Andy.
I just came to see if there was any
It's
progress, any
Yeah, it's-
decision.
next meeting, we will have something,
Okay.
okay?
And we apologize for the delay in this.
Yes.
Well, it's been a year and a half,
Yeah, trust me, we know.
you know, and
Yeah.
Jeremy is being invited to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on vacation last meeting.
We've already instructed Michael to make sure that he's got an invite for this meeting, so.
because it's, I mean, we've already, I guess it's hard to explain it, but I have plans of what I want to do down there, and I can't do what I want to do before I know where or if there's going to be pipes going across those fields, because that whole front field, we're turning into corn,
Okay.
and the whole field needs to be tiled before I plant it with corn May 1st, so the tile should have already been in, but I can't put the tile in the field, because tile goes 18 inches down, and this stuff's gotta be 5 feet down. So if I run tile across that whole field,
Yeah.
then, you know, I can't, so I've had to, like, I don't know, I'm gonna have to just change my plans for a whole nother year, because I'm not gonna be able to plant the corn May 1st. You know, I mean, unless I can get everything done
Beforehand.
beforehand, but,
Okay.
you know, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I mean, it's, I don't know, it seems like an awful long time to come up with a decision, but.
Okay.
Well, again, we apologize.
Yes.
We were under the impression we were gonna have a quote. And, as you said, we got a partial, it does include excavating and it does include the boring. So, it's definitely got some work to do and we questioning the footage by a long shot.
Yeah, 2,000 feet is an awful lot of pipe. And did that quote have the water line on there too? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
How many feet of water line?
only 1,000.
1,000 feet.
I don't know why the number's different. That doesn't even make sense.
They're both coming from the same spot. I mean, unless there's something I don't know, but Daryl had told me that on the
Yeah.
right side of Memorial Drive, everything was right there.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, so we got questions. We'll get answers.
Yep.
Okay.
Joey?
I'm just here.
Okay. All right, so that's it for guest. It's
You
got,
wanna do that?
yep.
What I handed to you?
Tim just handed me, and he's asked me to read this for the minutes at the beginning of the meeting. And it's addressed to Mr. Andrew Pond, Chair of Richford Selectboard. Dear Andy, it is with some regrets and much disappointment that I need to resign my seat on the Richford Selectboard, effective December 1st, 2022. After 17 years, Deb and I are selling the Grey Gables and moving out of town, and I will no longer be able to satisfy the residency requirements as stipulated by the state of Vermont. Additionally, I will resign as Justice of the Peace and its associated BCA membership, as well as my Richford appointments to Northwest Solid Waste Board and the NRPC Transportation Advisory Committee. I want to thank the entire community for the support, their support, encouragement, and tolerance over the time I've spent serving Richford. I feel the individuals currently directing Richford's fate are dedicated, informed, and truly interested in making Richford a better place. Good luck with your involvement in the ongoing evolution of Richford. Onward and upward. All the best, Tim.
Wow.
Well, congratulations on your sale.
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't have the purchase and sale in hand yet, but the buyers are in California, so it's kind of
Oh, wow.
long distance and a lot of difficult communications because of the time difference and stuff. But
I'll pass that to Mike.
Wow.
We're moving to Swanton, we got a lease on our house December 1st, so.
Your two boards, the northwest, and then you're talking about TAC, the other one?
TAC, yeah.
Okay,
And you can
Yeah,
just step up as the alternate there.
I guess.
Although you didn't care for that board that much.
No, but I guess I'll have to get used to it.
Well,
No, it's a, I don't know, it's just an older board that, it's a
Yeah,
it's a social gathering more
You
than,
were-
more than a,
the couple of meetings that you went to were like that, but they're not like that anymore, really.
All right.
They're getting some stuff done, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we'll go on to discussion of the first public meeting for trash service.
So Alan and I have been working on trash service, and we were thinking about when should the first meeting be for public discussion of it. It has to be at least 30 days. Between 30 and 40 days is what my understanding from VLCT's procedure.
Okay.
So that's up to the board when you guys want to see. I mean, it has to be relatively
How many meetings do we have to hold?
2, I believe. 2 and 30 days each.
Okay.
we have to give 30 days notice.
Yes, for both meetings.
I would say sooner than better, sooner than.
Yeah,
Right.
I would shoot for, yeah,
So that's gonna put us, what, the week of Christmas, the week before Christmas, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Do first,
and then 30 days from there,
Mhm.
the end of,
January.
yep,
So we can, so just kind of do it as soon as possible?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I just would suggest that the warn this as a meeting to discuss a charter change.
Mhm.
Because this meeting is not about doing anything to the trash service at this point.
Mhm.
Simply to change the charter, put control of the trash service back in the hands of the select board.
Mhm.
Are there any other elements of the charter? I mean, if we're gonna do it, do we wanna change any other pieces of the charter?
You know, the other one that I can think of might be the ambulance.
Yeah. Or the fire? Well, I mean, at least the wording of it, because it's not being done the way it's written, so.
Yeah, just to change it over to what it's actually
Okay.
being done.
And basically, I think all it adds, basically, it would just be, the fire department will notify us of their officers, I think, because they're already elected before we see them, which is not how it's written. So,
Yeah, they will list it as a ordinance, which is confusing.
Yeah.
so maybe explore changing that too. I mean, that would be minor, but,
Right, well, on the one warning, then.
well, you're saying charter changes, so that's general,
Just do-
right?
Could that be just the way it described?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to like be specific, like any more specific than that, just say it's for charter change.
Because
Okay,
at this point, that's all,
Right, that's all the-
that's the scope of what we're trying to do.
okay.
Any more discussion on the public meeting?
Okay.
Okay. Discussion of looking forward to get the new fire truck. I've mentioned this in the past. We have a 32-year-old E1 that's become unsafe really to use. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joey, with the front end is
So,
loose.
yeah, loose front end,
And then we have a ground issue, which we could be running down the road. We lose lights, we lose radio,
heater,
heater.
Communications.
It's showing its age.
there's a lot of rust underneath it too.
Yeah, if you open it up, you look at the plumbing at it, that's bubbled with rust. Actually, I'm surprised we haven't sprung a leak as of yet.
So we've put it into our second position engine, it's not even our attack truck anymore because we've had to take one of our tankers and turn it into our attack engine.
So that's what it is. Our engine 2 is what, a 2006, and our pumper is 2008.
Our tanker,
Tanker pumper,
11,
11, okay.
and that's an 89 is the engine.
So our second pumper right now is, it's gonna be 23, so it's gonna be 17 years old. In the condition of that, I have to say it's been upkept very well. We're trying to, as things need to be replaced, not toggle anything to make it right. I met with a guy this afternoon, and it was from E1, which is the maker of the engine that we're looking to repair or replace. I gave him a basic wish list on what I would like to see on it. I asked for something with a good size engine because of the hills around here, kind of like our tanker. 1,500 gallon per minute pump, which is what we have on E1 right now. A 2,000 gallon water tank. We have basically it's 900 gallons right now that we have on there. Foam, which is, if you're fighting fires, is a big help. It'll knock down a fire a lot quicker than just plain water. And the dump station on back, which Wally asked what that was earlier, it's basically, if we respond out of town, there's not a lot of big water sources out of town, so when we go out of town, we're carrying 1,000 gallons on E1 right now, 1,800 on E2, and 3,000 on our tanker. It just gives us more water to fight the fire once we get there. Dump station on back, we have the capability, if we had to dump the load into a portable pond, it takes about a minute to dump 2,000 gallons out of the back of the truck with having that. Other than that, it's a basic engine that I asked for. I didn't ask for a quad cab, just a 2-man seat. Nothing special, and you're talking, without having the estimate done, it's going to be between $400,000 and $500,000. That being said, I asked what kind of programs, because I talked to Kylie briefly on it, and she said we only finance or lease up to 6 years, but E1 itself, and I'm sure the other makers do the same thing, they have a lease program up to 10 years. Now, when we order an engine, and this is what we need to think about, to order it, you're talking about a 2-year lead time now because of everything that's taken place, shortages, just trying to get the parts to put it together. That's the information I got tonight.
So much for the 6 months it used to be. Holy crap.
And you guys have been looking into grants.
We've asked, and I mean, the last grant, the AGI grant, didn't include, it included an apparatus, but it was, how was it worded? It was for multiple departments, not just Richford.
Yeah, it's like a county-based, like other towns, other areas run, like you go to Florida, it's all county-based fire.
Right.
It's not.
So I haven't seen anything. I know Michael, I've asked him to keep an eye out for stuff like that, so.
I know 11, 12 years ago, when we built that big tanker, it was $237,000. It was 12 years ago, and that's just a water hauler.
Yeah.
It has a small pump on it,
It's a
but,
500 gallon per minute pump, so.
which is a third of what we're getting in the other, but I mean, it's just a water hauler, is basically what it's bought for. And that was 237 back then.
I forgot, I did bring up this, I asked for front suction, which we don't have on our current engine, which if you're trying to pull out of a river or a pond, instead of trying to get your engine up to the side where you put your hard suction, you can drive right up the nose to the water and drop the pipe in.
And nowadays with the short staffing that you have on the initial firefight, having that 8-foot piece of suction you can just spin and drop into your pond, you can actually, less guys, it takes 3 guys to set up a pump.
But other than that, it'd be set up very similar to what we have. I was talking if it was a $500,000, rig, with the interest, you might as well figure another, $50,000, so.
Or depends on the term, I guess.
It's a 10-year, and he said the interest rates right now are 6%, they're going up, so. But it's, something that we need to look into. I'm gonna look at other vendors and get quotes as well. Go from there.
It certainly goes into the budget, right?
It would have to go in the budget.
And, but if you're gonna get it 2 years from now,
Well, this is the other thing, this is the other thing, and this is, he was talking to me about the term. It says a year in after you sign it, you need to start paying. You can sign a deferment for another year, so basically you'll be paying on a fire truck that you haven't received yet. But if you defer it, you'll have to pay the interest for that year.
You have to pay the interest for that year.
That's,
Sorry.
that's what I have.
Great. Gonna continue and report back.
Yeah, I'm gonna get other vendors and get estimates. I wanna go through with my fire staff, make sure I didn't miss anything when, and this is, asking for aluminum over stainless steel. He said by increasing stainless steel, it's another $20,000 on top of that. Anything that you start making bigger. We're asking for a big motor in it to climb the hills around here, which I think is necessary.
Yeah.
I responded to a fire up on Whitman Hill Road the other day, climbing Bros Hill. I was lucky to get 25 out of engine one. So,
I got engine two when I was done about 30, and that tanker up Climb Bros Hill almost 50.
yeah.
Now, is this something that would go in our budget, or would it go on its own voting line?
Well, if we're leasing it, it would go into the budget. You put it in the fire
Right.
budget.
That's what I'm just wondering.
It would increase the budget, yeah.
Okay.
So. All right, that's enough of that. Approval of the 11/7 Select Board meeting minutes. Does anyone have any corrections?
Just, the one notation of trying to get a lift, it's not Royes, it's Ryes.
Oh, I spelled wrong.
Yeah, you have Royea instead of Ryea.
Oh, okay.
They're different people.
Yeah.
I move that they be approved with that adjustment.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Update from the town administrator.
Alright, well, the first one is I gave the quote for the water line. We've already discussed that, so don't need to go through that again. And then, so the CDBG pre-application is still, I worked on that and then I sent it off to Vermont Natural Forest Products there's some items in there that they'll need to fill out. So I did my part, sent it off to them, and hopefully they'll send it back soon and then we can review and continue on with that. Kylie and I are working on the municipal planning grant for the walking trails project that we want to do, the rec committee wants to do.
Okay.
And that's due December 1st, so we've been working on that pretty consistently the last few days, and we'll continue to. So Jason talked to me about this, and I think he talked to you about it, so in the municipal parking lot by across from the old drugstore.
Yeah.
There are tenants parked in there from a couple lots over, and since now we're in the winter parking ban, he wants to know, do you want to tow them? Do you want to send a letter to them, kind of cite them, give them parking spaces? Like, how do you guys want to proceed with that? Did I say that correctly, Wally?
I believe, yeah. It's,
I don't think we want to tow them.
so, well, you've got one side of that parking lot that we've sold paid spaces to.
Right.
We've got the other side, there's 7, 8 vehicles there all the time from, I believe the Legion has a tenant or two, and then Scott and Wendy have a couple on both sides of the street. So, I mean, do we ask that they, what, I guess, you just want to know what our policy is. In the past, they've just worked around it. Maybe we send a letter and say if we're gonna let them continue to park there, they have to park on the left-hand side only and leave the center open. Otherwise, they'll be towed. I mean, it's a challenge, it's a challenge because we're asking them to be off the street. So if we put,
Right.
I guess you would almost expect other citizens, other parts of town, to use our municipal parking lots to adhere to the rest of the parking ban. Wouldn't you?
Yes.
I mean, that's where kind of,
Yes.
No, but the problem is that those, whoever is from those houses or apartments are supposed to have
parking.
parking.
But they don't.
Yeah,
And they're
so,
grandfathered, so,
well, no, they're not grandfathered. Well, how would they be grandfathered?
they've never had parking.
Well, it's in the bylaws, and I don't even think all of those cars are registered in there.
No, some
That's
of those
different.
cars haven't moved since you paved that parking lot.
I know. So it's,
Talk to landlords,
You know-
have them rent spaces.
what's that?
Talk to landlords, have them rent
If
spaces.
they want to rent spaces, I'd
That
be
would
fine
be
with
simple.
that, but
It'd be like a driveway for their
again,
apartments.
it's, if you have an apartment, you have to have parking for it.
Yeah.
Or if you have that, most of those cars are from that house that's right there, and I don't know
Well,
who owns that house.
That and directly
I
across
think
the street.
Travis.
Yeah.
I'd say we start out with a letter, not just toll them and.
I would flyer them, like they did over here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you could put a notice right on the windshield, and.
That's all right for the tenants, but I think you also should let the landlord know.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Um,
But it's not fair. You're making one building owner rent spaces.
We did.
They should be doing
No,
this
we-
exact same thing.
We didn't make, he approached us.
He had to because the zoning would not give him a
Right.
permit to rent those apartments till he had secured parking for them.
But he approached us and saw us about it. I mean, the other landlords can make other arrangements if need be. This is just an easy,
Right, but the other places have been consistently rented out for years. So the Legion's always had somebody living above it, so, and they've never had a driveway. So if they have a vehicle now, they have a place.
They
to-
could park in the Legion
Yeah,
parking
they actually have
lot,
their own
which is
parking.
down there.
Below, yes.
Yeah, well, that's
Doesn't
theirs.
make sense to
So I
me.
guess we need to decide, so what is our objective in sending a letter? I guess that's what we need to decide.
my thought is we don't wanna just tow the cars.
No,
We wanna be kind of neighborly when it comes to something like that and just explain that, you know, this is a parking lot, it's a town parking lot, and
unless your
unless,
landlord has purchased a parking space
Right.
for it to be a driveway for you, you need to move your vehicle.
right. and
Nicely
then-
put.
And even, I need to interrupt you, but, like, on zoning, we talked about this over and over again, like, you can't sell them a parking spot and have them put an unregistered vehicle in it.
Right,
Right,
that's
that's
different,
correct.
unregistered's not
Yeah,
allowed.
like
That's
shit.
that's what our,
And
that's what it says in the agreement,
and that should be
for the
brought up,
leased spots.
yeah.
Because I think a lot of those down there
You're right.
Yep.
are unregistered.
Right, so those need to be gone. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And if they didn't have so much trash behind those two buildings, they have plenty of room to park.
Sounds like a zoning issue to me.
So that takes care of the tenants. But if there's any, I guess I have a secondary question. Like, if there's a snowstorm and we want people to move their vehicles off the street, wouldn't we avail them of the use of the parking lot, or do we expect that to be vacant as well?
Why are they parking on the street? For convenience,
For one
right?
thing, is there anything in the sign that says no parking?
Where, down here?
Yeah, it's a municipal parking lot, right?
Yeah. So I'm just asking general questions here.
So-
I know when we have a parking ban,
So if,
There's no hours of
I think the
operation
real
for
thing,
these
well,
parking.
I guess my point is, say if I'm down at Legion and I have a few drinks, I leave my vehicle there, someone picks me up, I leave my truck there for the night, I wouldn't anticipate it being towed.
Right,
Be reading just municipal parking lot, I mean, that could be, my thought is it's kinda poor on the town to have it listed as municipal parking lot and then say that we're gonna
tow you
tow
from
you.
it.
Unregistered vehicles, on the other hand, that's been parked there, yes, they should
Those go.
be pulled. But
I think there's a fairness issue here. We made Robert McAllister pay for parking
Yes.
spaces.
Yep.
These other landlords are getting it for free.
he requested it, but yes, I agree,
Yep.
they should,
I agree.
they have to have a spot for their tenants to park, the way I understand it. Then the tenants should be parking in their spot. If they do not have that spot,
That should be a zoning issue.
it is,
Yeah, that's what I was
To
gonna
be,
say.
to be approved for zoning, they must have had parking elsewhere.
right, so that's.
So why are they parking in that lot?
So do we ask John to send letters, or do we? John would be the appropriate party to send this letter.
I think so.
Yeah. And then you can offer, yeah, tell them. that-
Haven't you already?
What?
Haven't you already?
To Scott, I have, but not on those cars, no.
So if you'll do that, and you can throw out the option of leasing spaces,
Yeah.
but only to registered vehicles.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think,
But I think, you know, it's, you make a good point, but I think it comes down to the responsibility of the owner. If you're in the Legion drinking, getting pounded during a snowstorm.
It's being responsible not to drive.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But,
No, seriously.
It's
but if it,
municipal parking.
but
If
if it
it says
affects,
municipal parking and it says no parking here between such and such an hour, well, yes, but
It doesn't.
it doesn't, I don't believe.
what, well, I think the issue for the Legion is that they have their own parking lot. And,
But it says municipal parking.
I don't think it says anything. Is there a sign that says municipal parking?
I don't think there's a sign.
I don't think there's any
I gotta take a ride down to
identification.
look now.
I don't know, but I don't think there's any
I don't think there is
identification.
either.
Is there not a sign on the brick building?
No.
Graffiti.
Yes, sir.
We'll take
So-
a ride down, we'll investigate, but that's my, I was under the impression it was municipal parking.
Yep.
well then
It is.
I would, if we're going to tow vehicles parked there during a snowstorm, you know, then I think you need to, this parking lot is subject to the parking ban.
Yes.
If that's the route we wanna go,
Yeah.
I'm still
Right.
not convinced I really wanna go that
I
route,
would go
but
that way.
And some of
I would
the-
get rid
matter
of
to
the
me.
unregistered vehicles for sure, those do have to go, it's a parking lot, it's town-owned parking lot, municipal parking, it's not for people to park their junks.
so where are we at? Are we gonna, does the board want to make that subject to the winter parking ban as well?
How does Jason feel about it?
I don't think he has a dog in the fight, he just wants to know what
What to expect?
what to
Well,
expect.
I mean, if you have a big snowstorm, they're gonna be plowing snow into the back of that lot.
And he said
And they're
that
gonna be burying cars in there.
they.
They do
the par-
now.
The parking lot's been there.
Yep.
He said that they've just worked around it in the past, but he wanted to know, since we're leasing those
Mhm.
spaces, if that changed the philosophy on it.
I think we should these places offer the other the landlords that don't have parking for leasing spots, but not just having them for free.
But
just
how do
additional
the
parking.
landlords operate without parking spots for their assigned
Cause they were
apartments?
beforehand.
Which it falls back to zoning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that it's a zoning violation. It's not grandfathered in because maybe they didn't even own a car when they rented the place. You know, the place has to come with parking in it. That hasn't changed. It's in
That's
the
what
original
it-
bylaws.
The Legion parking lot's down by the laundry
Right,
mat.
yeah, it's just past it, right, I know.
Maybe we should put a sign that says this is a municipal parking lot, it's not for long-term parking.
Unless you lease places, spots,
What's that?
unless you lease your parking
Right.
spot.
Right.
You put that in there, so
Unless-
that way they know.
Prior authorization.
Right.
So where did all those apartment buildings down through there ever park?
Well, years ago, they weren't there.
What weren't there?
A lot of those apartments weren't there years ago.
There were
Well,
houses
above
that
the
were
Legion.
subdivided, right?
Yeah.
Or not subdivided, but
Yeah, but above the
Split up.
Legion and all, those have had apartments forever and ever and
how
ever.
many units are up there?
There's
Two?
one.
Yeah, I think there's
Right,
only
where they
one.
park, where was their parking spot?
The Legion
But they
parking
have
lot.
their own parking lot.
Down to the Legion, okay, so the ones above the drugstore, now those have been apartments forever and ever and ever
And
too.
that's what Robert got.
No, but they were,
Right,
that's why
they're
Robert had to
leasing
get it.
spots.
Yeah. But they had
before that-
my understanding, they had a verbal agreement with the trustees years ago that they could park there.
I don't know, I mean, they've been vacant since I came to town.
But we
Except
would
for
not
Dennis
issue them a
Kent was
permit
squatting
to
there
rent
for a
those
while.
apartments till they
Because it
had
had gone
parking.
empty for so long, and
Yes.
then we did them. But the ones that have not gone empty, they've always had, where they've always parked.
Which ones?
The other apartments going up towards the bar, there's no parking spots for any of those buildings,
No, there isn't, no.
no. And they've always been apartments, where's their parking spots?
How were they approved?
Yeah.
Again, they're probably grandfathered.
They've
Yeah,
always
I know.
been.
But there was always,
There's always apartments there.
I understand, but there was
last 50,
always
60
zoning
years.
bylaws that they were in violation of and no one pushed them on it, I guess.
No,
I think we
I
got,
don't
Michael,
think
can
there
you,
was.
can you
Look into
explore, because that ordinance hasn't always been in place. It was.
Which, the winter parking ban?
No, the having to have parking. I think
Always
As
been.
long as I know, it's always
It's-
been part of
There's
that.
Ever
always
since
been
the zoning
some
was
requirements.
adopted, it's been
When,
there.
when was
yeah.
zoning adopted?
73.
Well, see,
I think we
yeah,
should just send a letter to the landlords asking them to have their tenants park in the parking spots provided with the apartments. Because they had to have had parking.
Yes.
And then put a sign up that says that that's a municipal parking lot for short-term parking unless it's been
Leased.
pre-authorized, leased or whatever, and the
And it's
violators will be
subject
told.
to the winter parking ban.
Yeah,
Okay, let's go for that then.
I agree.
Okay. I mean, I don't
So can you look into,
wanna gum up the works here, I just, you know.
yeah, so you'll send the letter, Michael,
I
can
can,
you,
yeah.
can you look into getting a sign?
For the winter parking ban sign?
Yeah.
Well, the what,
for the parking
Oh,
lot,
okay.
saying that it's,
Okay.
that it's a municipal parking lot,
Not a long term.
not along, yeah, it's for short-term parking unless
Should we have like
spaces
hours
have
on
been
it, or just say just short term? Yeah.
I
We
think-
can work out the language.
yeah, because I think the other what's the parking ban here? What are the hours for that?
I mean, the parking
2
ban
to
hours
6.
are 2 AM to 6 AM.
Yeah, so yeah, probably just have that in there.
So
That's-
or maybe just put subject to winter parking ban.
Because we do have the winter parking ban sign that we can put there, and that tells you the hours. It's
All right, well then
parking ban.
just have the other part, then just get the other sign. Have it go, just have
So
a
have
sign.
two signs in there? Side by side?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, well, I mean, if you already have that sign.
We have the
yeah,
winter parking
yeah,
ban sign,
So then you just get the one that says it's not long-term.
Okay.
unless leased spots,
I don't know, it's,
something like that.
I
Do we
mean,
want to get those signs for the other municipal parking lots, saying that it's not long-term, that it's short-term parking only?
well, like right now, once you pave that lot behind the old Mayhews, you know, there's, what, 3
Those
trailers down there
cars
now?
are gonna migrate down there, so yes, I agree, we should.
Yeah, no, I'm saying,
Right,
yeah.
but that's a parking
But right now,
lot.
there's 3, well,
Old trailer things
But
there,
that's a
isn't there?
parking lot, if people work third shift, their cars are gonna be parked there through the night,
That's
through the
true.
parking ban.
because that's what the granite,
So it's-
granite
yeah,
is, we got.
Yeah,
So I think we'll do a little different on that one.
long-term parking, so we have to address that.
Yep.
It's like the airport. Short term is here, and long term is over here. And,
Just put in no long-term parking.
Yeah, I
But don't put in about the
say no
towing part.
long-term parking unless you're waiting.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe
grants hasn't been finalized yet, so we're in good running.
Yeah.
It's looking very promising.
Yeah.
And then it begs the question, they dump a ton of snow there, that's gonna stop too, right, once it becomes long term.
Jason never said that was, I worked with him pretty closely on this one for all of the upgrades that they want to do there. He said that shouldn't be a problem. He said the way we want to have the flow of traffic flow through there, he said it'd be, he made it so where he could push snow in the back and it wouldn't disrupt anything.
Do we wanna put cameras down there?
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm thinking that's probably,
You had authority to add to that quote, right? The grant.
That deadline, we already passed that.
All right, never mind.
Yeah, that was like,
That might have been a
that
good
was
thing.
end of
I
October deadline.
Yeah, I mean, I think you want cameras wherever you can get cameras in this community.
I think there should be one down on the back of the building by the lookout, and I think there should be one in there and one down
well,
in this
if you're
part.
parking your vehicle for a parking ride down there, I'd wanna feel my vehicle safe.
Yes,
So, but I think we can.
But we just gotta wait until we get
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Make sure we get it first.
Okay,
Okay.
I think we're all set there.
Do you have anything else, Michael?
A couple more things. I got one more thing. I just wanted to say we received the USDA grant for the ambulance radios. We were supposed to get that letter months ago, but it was never sent to me until I called. And then it was sent to me after that conversation.
Are we able to use ARPA funds for the max burn?
I haven't heard back from that yet.
Okay,
I will ask him tomorrow.
okay.
And that's all I got.
Okay. Highway report.
Oh, we covered the big topic. Christmas wreaths went up this week, veteran stuff came down. The only other thing is, next Monday, this coming Monday, the state and the highway department are meeting, and hopefully with Jacobs up on the Gilmet Road to discuss the beaver pond, the beaver issue on that pond. I guess the state has all sorts of money to help mitigate beaver problems, and
I think Jim Gilmet took out the dam at one
yeah,
point.
that cost us a lot back then. So I think I think it's probably better to work with the state than have them come tell us afterwards that it wasn't okay. So there's a meeting there at 1 o'clock on Monday. Other than that, it's, you know, first few plowings, some maintenance issues that are being handled. Other than that,
What's the, you know, like everything else, you don't satisfy everybody with the plowing. And, you know, you see complaints, is there an appropriate way for people to complain about plowing issues?
I think everything should be run through the town hall.
It's okay, it doesn't matter to me, I'm just saying that,
I
you know,
think
people are venting and they're on like Facebook and then you get
that we
some
can't-
piling on. No, but I'm saying,
Oh, Michael.
if there's a way to channel the complaints so that they get recognized before they blow up into a social media hot potato.
Well, we can't really control that.
No.
Well, you can if you let people know if they have issues.
So are you asking, like, when Michael sees that, to like just put a comment, contact the town clerk for complaints?
Well, no, what I'm saying is,
I shall love that.
well, no, you gotta, it's like, I saw one this week at the school. The driveway was icy, the car slid all the way back down to the bottom of the hill. They had a slight fender bender and they couldn't get back up the hill, and, you know, kids couldn't go to school. What's that?
That's called studded tires.
Well, but you can't mandate that.
No, you
This
can't.
isn't Canada, you can't mandate winter tires.
I know.
It's,
No, that was a nice storm and it was slippery. Our parking lot was slippery too.
and I'm just
A
saying,
lot of places were.
whether or not, and then, you know, at the same time, somebody else on Whiteman Hill is piling on and saying, yeah, our road was terrible too, and we can't do this, and we can't, and every year you get, because the goal, if I'm not mistaken, is to have the main roads done and the sidewalks cleared prior to school hours, right? I think that was always their priority, I don't know.
Yeah,
And if people are complaining, and they're gonna complain, they're still gonna complain, but I just wish there was a way that they could feel satisfied that someone's listening to them. Okay, that they're paying taxes like everybody else, and they say, you know, if somebody drives the sidewalk plow through my hedges at my place, I call over here and complain. Right, go out to the town barn and say, you know, use a little more care, don't knock down the hedges, or don't dig up the front foot of my lawn.
But you're taking appropriate action. But when they're blasting out Facebook messages or Instagram messages, I don't think we can control that.
No, but I'm not saying, they should have a recognized outlet.
So what
And maybe you
are
could-
you suggesting?
I don't know, give them a number here at the town hall, or give them the number out at the barn, and if no one picks up the phone there, that they leave a message. Whatever.
So how do you propose we get it to them? Like, are we?
Inform them, put it on a sign up front. You have plowing problems, call this number.
If you have any concerns.
Or, yeah, whatever, I don't wanna call it problems.
Issues.
That we can do.
You know, all I'm saying is
If you have concerns or issues, please contact.
you don't want this thing festering
Yeah.
out there amongst the groups that say, you know, those guys aren't worth a, you know, they can't plow my road, and.
How many
like-
guys you
like-
have plowing, 5?
Four. Well, I mean, and one sidewalk plow.
Yeah,
So, you know, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
oh, I know, there's no doubt.
But-
And if it was Orchard Park, New York, they'd still be plowing today.
Yeah,
70, 80 inches
We
now.
could have Michael put something out on the
We'll work with
website, just say, you know, if you have concerns, please bring them to, you know, please call the town hall.
Yeah, route them through the town hall.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
so just to let
Or-
people know that we're,
And
we're
maybe not,
listening.
you know, put
You have any?
We don't want to invite complaints.
No.
We want to give people maybe like a central number to call for any concern.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not put,
Yeah.
you know,
Not related
Not
to-
just the
complaints
plow,
about
it's
plowing.
concerns,
or
yeah,
whatever.
just concerns,
It's
yes.
town concerns. How's
I mean,
that?
because some people come to these meetings, like Ricky Mason was here last year and they don't plow all the snow onto my side of the street. Wasn't that
Yes.
his? Okay, which is fine, and they rectified it. Because it doesn't make sense for all of it to go. And I don't know, they got a great system, I think they do a fantastic job. Okay, I don't understand what they're doing all the time when they bring the big vehicles down the sidewalk on my side of the street and they try to push it over to the park side. And it's pretty, it's fun to watch, but you know, it's, for a period of time, you have a big snowbank down the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And, but eventually it clears itself up and it's fine. I mean, it's good that they're moving it around like that. But something else we have to consider is if we're selling off town lots at places where we're currently dumping snow, it might be worth hanging on to them, like the Priest Block spot and that kind of thing. They put a lot of snow in there, don't they?
I didn't think they put any
No.
snow in
Oh,
there.
okay,
But-
maybe not.
But I know what you're saying, like the
Yeah.
lot right across from Jimmy Claus's.
Yeah, that too, yeah,
That's a town property,
yeah.
and I think there's a couple others.
But anyway, I'm just,
Okay.
Is that it, Wally?
That's all I have, I mean, everything, you know, it's just kind of the slow time for them. They're,
Okay.
you know, doing miscellaneous projects.
I would like to touch on that highway part though. I talked to you briefly back there. Thank the town boys, the ambulance had to get its tires changed out. We couldn't get the duals off, they were froze on, and Joey took the rig down and Jason was able to pop them off so we could get the tires changed out. So thank you. All right, buildings, Sherry?
Okay, talked to Taylor, stones will be put on the roof tomorrow morning.
Awesome.
So they'll be there tomorrow. Patch roof on the library roof to go through the winter has been done. Heat pumps for the town hall, they came and walked around, quotes will be sent to me, but $20,000 for this building, $6,000, that's just for the material, and $6,000 in labor to do this. That's 3 heat pumps on that side and 2 on this side. Don't think we're gonna do that this year by any means. I'm gonna probably put it in the budget for next
So
year.
you said that's just for materials, that's
That's
20,000?
just, yeah, 20,000 for material, 6,000 for labor. The emergency building, last fall, it was 5,200, now it's 7,300 for 1 heat pump.
Wow.
Yeah, that jumped up. And that is also, I guess there was huge tax breaks from the state, for putting them in though. That will
efficiency
come
Vermont.
back, that will come back when we do our taxes. Don't know if, he said he didn't know if we would qualify being a municipality, we don't pay in taxes, that kind of thing. So he said it'd be something to look into on our half, so I'll talk to Carly about that. Cause he said it could be up to a couple $1,000s.
Yep.
well, Michael get a hold of his Efficiency Vermont contacts.
And
Because
as
they're
far
the
as
people that it
rebates, the
basically
rebates
comes
are
out to.
already included in this, cause it's when you buy them.
Okay.
Post office deck is done. Very slippery because it is pressure treated. We've had one person already slip and go down. We salt it, and this was when the snow hit the other day. It's salted quite a bit, but we can't paint it, we can't put no sand grip on it or anything like that until next year.
Right.
So people have to be careful.
Is there a sign there?
I don't know if Timmy put up a sign or not, but I did talk to him today about it again.
Okay.
There was a light issue, I guess all the lights in the main lobby were flickering, some are out, some are popping on and off, not just one ballast. So I called D&D and had them go and take care of it, the lights are all fixed, everything's working fine again. AC and satellite, Rick Mason picked up and took care of, no charge to the town. And that's it at this point.
All right. Water and sewer. So we got the quote. Jeremy said ECI, he was waiting on the guy to get back to him. He'd been on vacation. Concerning Mr. Weatherby's letter to the select board about
Yes.
the fire hydrant near the train station being under grade, I talked to him and there's a 24-inch extension ordered for it. It's just waiting for it to come in. When they replaced the hydrant, they didn't realize the line was that deep. That's why it sits the way it is. There's a berm of dirt around it protecting it until they get the, so. 69 Golf Course Road, he had to replace a shutoff. There was a water leak at the trailer, so they wanted to shut off the water and they had to, said the stem on it was rusted out. It was stainless steel. They are now. And he's buying 4 rebuild kits for the pump stations. He's got to rebuild some pumps. They're about $200 a piece. I told him to go ahead and purchase them. It's part of the maintenance thing, so. And that's all I have. Alan?
No, other than the house on Elm Street.
Oh, yes, I know about that, yeah. I wanted to talk about that, I forgot about that. All right, so Elm Street is one of those places where the pipe, water pipe runs along the ledge. It's not deep enough. Asked Jeremy what we could do. Number one was heat tape, which would be expensive, run it around the pipe. The second option was to dig up the line and insulate it, which made sense in my mind. I think insulation would do a lot. And the third part is to get a little valve that would go on before the meter and basically run a water line into the sewer before the meter, so his line wouldn't freeze. Talking with him, he's, you know, there's costs associated with it, but he also brought up the point there if the water did freeze and they had to go and replace it on the weekend, the cost would be substantial. I still believe that we should probably dig it up and insulate it and put that valve on just to prevent it freezing up, and then we'd be able to bill what the owner's actually using. And I think that'd be fair for the other taxpayers as well.
But he wasn't asking for that. At least that's not what I saw in Kylie's email.
What
That Mike wasn't asking.
Mike was asking for an average is what he was.
He wanted the clarification of the billing issue.
Yeah.
And I guess when I look at doing something, I always ask myself, why are we doing this? Is there a purpose or a benefit to do it? Mike's not asking us to dig it up and do it.
No.
Financially, there's little, if any, benefit to the town to do that. I guess I'm just wondering if we can give him some type of financial clarification. Do we need to do anything? The way we bill the water, the bulk of the budget gets included in the base rate. We put very little of the budget into the usage. In the past, all he's paid on the winter billing was the base rate. We never got any usage. He's proposed a $500 payment, fixed payment for that one billing, which would include $280 for the base and over $200 for usage, which would make whatever we did, if we dug it up and did anything, say it cost $5,000, take us 100 years to recover the cost of that, because we're already collecting, because of the way we bill, financially, we're not gaining anything by fixing that, putting heat tape or whatever on it.
This is all because he has to run his water, right?
Correct.
And it wasn't an issue till Kylie thought he should pay his,
Right.
more of his fair share.
Correct.
Right.
And if we had just stuck with the base rate, it would, like it had been, there would be no issue, right?
Right. And the reason I think the previous select boards went with that, because I inherited that deal.
Yeah,
Was
the same reason.
because of the way we're billing, we put so much in the base rate that he's paying a good chunk of his water anyway, you know, even if he's leaving it running. So I guess if he's not asking for us to dig it up and do something, I guess I'm just throwing out there that maybe we should just give him have Kylie do some kind of an average
So the-
and see if he would agree to it or do the 500.
This is the part that caught my attention, is he made some suggestions such as paying $500 flat fee every 6 months. And then the issue with this, his summer bill was $915, so it would allow him to pay less in the winter than the summer. So that's why I was looking into options of fixing it.
So his summer bill was 900 and something,
$915 is
but
what
the
she
summer
stated
bill
here.
is what, January, February, March, April, May? Billed out in June, right?
Right. So maybe
it's
we
not-
then would
it's
just do
big
the
winter
average.
is most of that usage right there.
Yeah.
So, and then his winter bill, it only has maybe, what, a month and a half of cold weather?
Well, his winter bill would have been just the base.
Yeah,
So maybe we just do take the summer bill to a 5-year average and say, this is the usage we're gonna plug in for the winter. I mean, in an ideal world, it would be great if he didn't have to run the water, because we are paying to treat that water.
Right.
But, the long-term history of the arrangement, the previous arrangement, was that financially it worked for him and for the town. If we get, if he agrees to pay some amount for usage, we're actually gaining there. Because in the past it worked financially and he didn't pay anything on usage, he paid the base for that one bill.
right.
So by averaging the summer bill, say over 5 years,
But $400 for
we're
water
gaining
is
that
going down the
usage,
drain.
so,
Is he the only place in town?
no,
See, that's the other thing.
there's a couple of others.
So, that makes me think that it needs to be a written policy as to the people that can't bury their lines as deep as need be to prevent from the frost or freezing of the pipes, that they can run their water and you can bill them an average, 5-year average of their summer bill.
Right.
Okay, I mean, I think that's fair.
I guess that's the question now, what do we do for everybody else?
That's what I'm saying, you
Yeah.
can't.
I think that one, I agree with policies. There's nothing I like better in this world than policies. But,
But if you're asking him to pay a 5-year average
well, no,
of
average.
the winter bill, of the summer bill,
That's the
That-
winter bill.
huh?
The summer bill is the winter bill, because
So they're
most of the
actually,
winter is
so
in.
that's actually gonna be higher, he's actually gonna be paying for all the water he's,
Well, no, your
All the
summer,
water,
your summer
because he's
bill
gonna
would be
be
the
the-
one that you
he's-
collect now in
His
in
water's gonna be
December.
running.
Right, okay.
yeah, but,
Okay.
but if you're, but didn't you say the summer bill is what, January, February, March? That's all the
No, no,
time?
no. The summer bill is May,
So-
June, July, August, September, October.
It's October 15th to April 15th for the winter bill.
But
April
could-
15th.
Okay, well, I was just going by
what you
for
were-
the summer bill.
But
Okay.
Alright.
I got you then.
So the bills are due in December and July.
If you were to install this valve before the meter, which, from my understanding, they're talking just one of those valves that go on a pipe for like a ice maker and run a line into a sewer prior to the meter, you would get rid of that. But it would run all summer, who would be responsible for shutting it off come fair weather?
Right.
So that's probably a $20 valve, but that would be a simple fix.
do we know for sure that it would fix it?
It's running water, right? How fast do they run their water?
Right, if they're using $400 and just running it down the sink, that's a lot of water for the winter time.
Yeah, I guess we need to explore it more. Can you confirm that that'll work?
This is what was suggested by Daryl originally.
So what does this valve do?
So it's just, have you ever installed an ice maker line? Okay, so what it is, it's just a saddle clamp. It goes onto the pipe and it's got a Pearson nozzle. It goes in and it's a valve. It's just basically a valve. Once it pierces, it's a valve. You can close it, it shuts it, open it, lets water run.
It's not much bigger than this, not even as big as the
Yeah, it's
pen.
Right, it's
probably,
pretty thin.
yeah, it's, well, the pipe itself, I think, maybe,
Not even as big as a pen.
I don't even think it's 1/4 inch.
No.
No, it's small.
So how does that keep the line from freezing?
But run.
Because the water's running
You
through
open
it.
up the valve, the water will run
So where's the water going?
Right
into the
into
sewer.
sewer.
That's what the suggestion was.
Instead of running it into their house.
Yeah.
So
System.
we're losing treated water either way.
We're losing
Yeah.
treated water.
Right.
But it would be a fair bill. It'd be the same thing.
I mean, I got no problem with that if it works. I've never heard of it before, but that doesn't mean anything.
I know what the valve is that they're talking about. I've put them in myself, so, but. Now who's
And how much would it, where is this valve installed?
on the line prior to the meter?
So it's in the
So
house.
they're gonna have to dig it up, I would assume.
No, it'd be before the meter in the house. It's just a little narrow valve.
So how's this water gonna get to the sewer?
Just
It's piped to the sewer.
They probably just put, they have to put some sort of check valve into the, some sort of,
Basically, you go up and you drop it in a line going outside, like the sewer line going outside, inside the basement.
yeah. So I mean, you just put some sort of connector in there.
Yeah.
However,
So we're gonna have to hire a plumber to come in and,
Jeremy said he could install it if the town wanted. That's what he said. He told me he could.
I mean, I guess if that works, I mean, I could be, but it's still,
It's,
you're still gonna have to,
it's not a fix.
it's not a permanent fix.
No.
Um,
The insulation was the lesser of the evil of the heat tape. Other than, digging it up and blasting the ledge,
Yeah,
so.
Elm Street is horrible up there.
well, and I guess then maybe
I worked on that.
ask Jeremy, let's have Jeremy identify other properties, so then
the only other two that I know of that in the past had asked for forgiveness of the usage for the winter bill because they had to leave their water running was up on Highland Avenue.
Yeah,
There
my
was-
father said there's a place where it runs, actually runs on someone's property, the lines do. I think that's sewer though. Down above David Bortles' place, down around there.
I'm
Actually,
not sure exactly where.
it's
but-
over where you live, in that area. I'll double check with my
Yeah,
father.
no.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. My bill's over 700.
So
I don't leave my water running, that's okay.
would you reach out to Jeremy and ask him to identify any other properties that need to keep their water running during the winter months to prevent freezing?
It does make more sense to have the valve, and then that way we can bill everybody exactly what they're using.
It's just,
when
it
it's
makes it
done.
fair for
Instead of
everybody.
averaging it
Yeah.
and saying, okay, well, I'm gonna average yours, oh wait, no, I'm gonna have to average yours, I'm gonna have to average yours, just do it across the board what they use. Especially if it's a cheap fix, or a cheap Band-Aid, I guess.
well, I think you also have to, is the homeowner amenable to that change? Like I said,
Yeah,
that would be the other piece.
all right. Is that it for water and sewer now? Good.
I didn't have-
Parks, playgrounds, cemeteries report.
They brought all the stuff for the materials for the ice skating rink today. Dropped them off. I don't know where they went. I guess into the shed. And they took the flagpole down last week. And as you saw from my email a couple weeks ago, I would suggest that it gets put back up on the top of the hill near the eagle sculpture, backlit, so both of those are lit, and you'd have a little bit of light spill over into that parking lot to try to discourage some of the learning to do donuts and the
You don't fuck.
speedway. And I know, but it's not as
No, I
important when I
understand.
leave, it's just, but,
I definitely agree with that.
no, I think that would be a good idea. But apparently it was pretty easy to take down the flagpole,
Good.
so.
Are they ready for water now, or have they built
I don't
it?
think they put.
No, they didn't put it up yet. They don't have the boards up yet.
I was thinking about that today on the drive home, that
Well, it's gonna be cold for a while, so that snow that's there isn't gonna melt. I think
It's supposed to
gonna,
rain later in the week, so it might.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if they're gonna try to
they're not.
clear
sure on
the
that.
spot or whatever. Anyway, but, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have it in prior to Christmas, certainly. And, like I said, they have the materials and supposedly they got a bunch more skates now and all kinds of stuff,
Well,
so,
yeah, we had the skates donated by JP.
yeah.
We have the ones at the school. And then I got a call from Kevin Smith because I asked about the helmets because we were supposed to get helmets with that
Yeah.
and we never got them last year. And he said they have the mediums one in stock right now at their store, and then they're waiting for the small ones to come. And hopefully this week.
Cool.
We'll be
Very
in. So
nice.
by next week I should be able to go over there and get them.
Nice.
And I stayed away from the Main Street Park, but I assume they put the Christmas lights up last Saturday.
Yes,
They were right out there.
my son was down there, he said it went well.
Cool. And, happy holidays.
Yes, you too.
I don't know if they're still, if the cemeteries are still interring people right now, or if they have, they're waiting until the spring now, or if, I don't think the ground's quite frozen yet.
So Riel Smith stopped by about the Richford Center Cemetery, and
Yeah.
he said he locked two of the gates. He left one open enough where if someone wanted to get in, they could go in and, put lights on the stones or whatever. So,
Yeah, okay,
Yeah. Okay,
that's what I know.
other business.
I have a couple of things. One is, we had gotten a letter about the double dipping, and we talked about this at least a year ago, if not longer. When people go out on the ambulance call, this was a concern, people go out on the ambulance call, and then the fire gets called, or vice versa, and same people tend to be on both, because those are the ones that are in both, it's just the way it goes. But they're not double dipping, because what they're doing is, if they're on ambulance, they're getting paid by the ambulance. If they help out with something with fire, even though they're there with the ambulance, they don't get paid by fire. It actually goes down as a zero on the fire department side, on their payout. So I just wanted to clarify that so people would know that, and the same thing vice versa.
So to move a little more in depth with it, if, like we had a call last night, actually Joey, you were on duty when that, I don't even know if you put your name
I didn't sign
down.
the sheet, no.
But when that happens, to get accountability for the people that were there, we'll write the name down, you have a sign in, and then you write ambulance next to it. So when it comes pay time for the fire department, I see that, and it's basically a spreadsheet that I send Kylie, and you'll see zeros in there, and the reason the zeros are accounting for it, but it's 0 hours. So that, yeah.
So just wanted to clarify that, because we did have,
Are there any liability concerns to doing it that approach? And what I mean by, so somebody's being paid by ambulance, and they get hurt on fire,
Falls under one.
it's all under the same umbrella policy?
Tom's insurance.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we're there for each other, basically.
Okay, I just was kind of wondering.
If we get a structure fire, ambulance gets toned out.
Yeah.
That's an automatic.
Okay, I'm just clarifying, so, okay.
and the other thing that I wanted to bring up is Andy and I signed a couple of maintenance contracts last week, and they were for the stretcher that Alan had gotten the grant for a long time ago, that nice stretcher.
Our
Yeah,
power
the
one.
the hydraulic one or whatever, and it's maintenance, because if something was to happen and we don't have it serviced, we're liable. If it collapses, falls, twists, whatever, we're liable, so we signed maintenance contracts, so these are gonna be looked at, inspected, and made sure they're up to standard at all times.
It's becoming an older stretcher, and they're not just, they're a preventative maintenance
Yes,
and a guaranteed any part that goes wrong on it other than the mattress, the wheels, and the straps. So if we blow $1,000 motor on it, hydraulic motor,
it's covered.
they actually give us the motor and the labor for free. Batteries are $500 for 2, they give us those.
The way I'm
Is
looking at it, it's a certification basically that the structure is safe.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if we go to a scene that doesn't, if it collapses on us while we've had a maintenance program and, it's been checked
Right,
out,
we're
so.
covered.
I mean, isn't it similar to like a fire alarm inspection?
It's the
Yes.
same thing.
You gotta
Or
get
elevator
certified by
Yeah,
fire
it's-
safety
It's the same thing we
every
do with our
year.
monitors.
Yeah,
Same thing we
okay.
do our AD
Yeah.
monitors every year.
Same thing with
Yeah.
elevators, same
Yeah,
thing
no,
with
that's what I'm
all of
saying,
that.
yeah, so it's,
And we didn't have that program, that's
It's never been, this is the
why.
first time.
wow,
Yep,
I'm surprised it wasn't required,
exactly.
Yep.
but
So we went ahead and did it.
that's good, excellent.
Now, the state has sent Joey, the
No, it's not the
ambulance,
state, it was the American Animal
American.
Association, which we subscribe to.
yes. There's a 3% increase on,
No, it's more than that, it's like almost 9%, I think.
yeah,
For-
right here, 9.1%. Sorry, we would like to increase ours by 3%. So we're not jumping up huge, but, and this would be like ALS calls that we charge out to the customers.
So basically,
billing rates.
our billing rates,
Yes.
so mileage and different,
By 3% versus the 9.1 that the ambulance inflation factor is.
So the inflation, they're saying so those rates haven't been raised since Anita was in charge, however long ago that was. 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
We have not increased our rates, we've been at that rate right along. And last year, they said there was like a 3.5 inflation increase in EMS across the board.
I see this.
And they're saying 2023, there's gonna be over a 9% increase. And we can see it just in our fuel
This is
costs,
our
our equipment
Bills are
cost
right now.
is going up. And
So is the 3% gonna cover your fuel cost, or is it sufficient?
so here's the other catch from billing, okay? So billing, Medicaid and Medicare is only gonna pay a set fee.
Right.
They're only gonna pay a set fee.
And
These
where do
are
they
for
go?
the people that are self-pay, or like your MVPs, your Cignas, and your Blue Cross Blue Shields. These are the ones that'll get the full rate. MVP and Medicaid bill, God, flat rate of between 600 and 700. No matter what
And
we
are the
bill.
rates changing?
They do on occasion, Medicaid went up not too long ago. Not to mention, Medicaid hits us for a 3-point-something percent, 3.2 or 3.5% tax on any ambulance transfer we do. We have to pay into them every year, which is factored into our budget. So she also has Missisquo's rates. The only difference in the rates between, yeah, the only difference in the rates between Missisquo's and ours is their mileage is double our mileage.
And that's per mile?
That's per mile for them, we're at half that,
So you guys, you drive to St. Albans and back?
yeah.
about
Well,
450
we
bucks.
only get to bill for what we transported, so it's
Yes.
one-way trip.
One way.
That's loaded mileage. If we go to Burlington, about 800 bucks billable
But
mileage wise.
the majority of this is an insurance issue anyway, right? Don't most of the people give the bill to their insurance companies?
We bill the insurance directly.
Right, so, I
But
mean,
we
it's
just-
not harming
Unless you're
our
uninsured.
community much.
Right.
I mean, but,
Yeah. And then we have that nice subscription plan, which will be going out at the beginning of next month to the
Right.
people that already have it.
right.
And I talked to Michael and he was gonna put it on the
It's okay.
town, he's put it on the town website for us so that people have more access to it, because I've had people asking about it. And if they have no insurance or underinsured, they pay the $75 fee and we forget the bill,
Yes.
which is a nice feature, so it doesn't, the people don't get hurt either way.
Yeah.
So by increasing the rates, it'll help us recoup some of the diesel.
Yeah.
So how much does the rate going up, 3% you said?
3% is what we're asking.
And
for
not
the
to mention
select board.
that there's new
Oh, okay.
protocols coming out that we're gonna have to
Just
spend, what, a couple grand?
one new device to get us up to the new protocols is 2,200,
Yeah,
just for one device for both trucks. And that happens every couple years, that happens to us. They give us something new or they change something.
If you guys are comfortable with that, I'll make a motion to
Perfect.
authorize the 3%.
And you may wanna put a date on it as to, and go with the first of the year.
Yeah.
Do you need to increase the subscription rate as well?
I would say
was it 75 right now?
75 right now, which is what Enosburg gets.
It was increased maybe a
Year
year
ago.
Yeah,
So Enosburg gets 75, and they also do a bit, so here's another thing you guys can think about down the road. They do a company one. Like they'd offer it to Blue Seal, okay? Blue Seal would take it for $100, and then their employees get it at $5. And Blue Seal pays the whole fee. Just using Blue Seal is because you work for them. That subscription covers just that employee. It's another option that could be, and I can get more information out of Enosburg to
Yeah.
find out how they actually do it. But that's something to think about, if maybe a way to bring in.
so.
So like you take your Jolly store,
When this works, do they bill the insurance and then anything left over?
Yeah. they write off.
Okay.
So like it'd be your store down there with Jolly's, you would have, Jolly's would buy it for $100. And then how many employees do you got?
10.
So another $50, so $150. Every employee at Jolly's gets a $5 fee or $10, whatever it is. Added on to that bill, they pay it, and then just their employee is covered, not the whole family at the residence.
Okay.
So like you would be covered out a year if it was Blue Seal, she would be covered, but Jeremy wouldn't have it, your kids wouldn't have it, your wife wouldn't have it. And I know Enosburg does that, I can get more details on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I would second the motion to increase the
Perfect.
3% or
Effective
whatever.
January 1st, 2023.
Yep.
All those
Perfect.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
So you wanna take care and get that to Kylie? For the 3%?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other business?
I think
I think
we have to go into executive session,
Yes.
so I would make a motion to go into executive session.
Is there going to be any results after coming out of executive session?
No, I took care
I
of it.
would say quite possibly,
I
yeah.
took care of it already.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel, and, is there a second?
I'll second.
I'm not running a meeting,
All
sorry.
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And,
Opposed? None?
and there'll probably be a result, Jerry.
Okay.
So we'll go down to my office at
So I'd like to make a motion to increase the town administrator's salary by $6,000 based on his 6-month review, taking him to an annual salary of $54,000.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. And while we were in executive, it dawned on us that, or dawned on me that there was one item on other business that should have been brought up. Last year when budget was put together, the Lions Club asked for an extra 1,000, from that 2,000 to 3,000 for the fireworks for the 4th of July, which is not going to be held on the 4th of July anymore because of the increase. Lions Club member, my dad, went to get a check from Kylie for the fireworks today to put down payment, or not today, last week. And she wrote a check for 2,000, so he'd asked me to talk to her about it, and I figured, well, bring it to the board, because I remembered asking for 3,000. I just wanted to clarify it with everybody here, that that's what took place, and move forward with the extra 1,000. By doing so, it's gonna put that budget short because we increased the holiday fund for
Tree lighting.
the tree lighting by $300, and we had Scott Coon's retirement, which pulled out of that. So it's gonna be if we were to do the things for the employees like we have done in the past, it's gonna cut us short within that budget. So that's why I wanted to bring it to the board. Last year.
Well, we're still overall under budget
Right.
significantly.
Right.
So I'm thinking we'll be fine.
So that was the thing, do we move forward with the extra 1,000? And she'd mentioned that, you know, we did $25 per town employee for the holiday season
I
for
think we still
appreciation.
need to keep that up. I
Okay.
think that means a lot.
So,
Sure it does.
all right, so,
I guess,
Departments go over budget
you know, I get
all the
that.
time, so.
No, but my question was, since I wasn't on the board, I'll abstain as well. Alan, that's how this procedurally would work? Because on the,
well, this is,
because we're
I,
talking about what was decided in the budget last year.
Right.
Like $1,000. And I don't.
Oh,
I
you got
wasn't-
elected in the spring?
yeah, you
Yeah.
got elected
in
after
March.
the fact.
Yeah, so I'm just, is that procedurally how that would go?
Yeah, we can approve overspending that budget.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Yeah,
Alright.
I
I'll
mean, in
make
the
a
overall
motion.
scheme of things,
Yeah.
$1,000
Yeah,
is.
nothing.
yeah,
So
I'll
Sherry's
make a
made a
motion.
motion to pay the
Pay the
extra.
extra $1,000 so we can.
to the
have a fire.
lines and also to continue the employee
Yes,
payments at Christmas.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I get a second?
Sure.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none? Will you pass that on to Kylie tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay,
Alrighty.
all right.
Way good.
Get a motion to adjourn?
You betcha.
I'll make that motion.
Out.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do I hear any nays? Motion passed.